Hello and welcome to a new YouTube video. Today's video is all about taxes. Yay! First of all, I want to say I don't know how far I'm allowed to talk about taxes because I'm not a certified tax advisor. I saw some other videos about it, so I'm pretty sure if I'm talking about like my examples and giving some informations that helped me to understand the tax situation is totally fine, I guess. I just wanted to let you know that I'm not a certified tax advisor, but I'm happy to help and I hope this will help you to get the taxes done. Let's go. First of all, I want to talk about why am I doing this video. The thing is that if you're an au pair in the United States, you have to pay taxes once a year. And because the taxes are like, let's say, a high official topic and no one wants to mess it up, I'm doing this video because a lot of au pairs are getting confused every year, even though the agencies, at least my agency does that, gives information about how it works, but it's still confusing to a lot of people. First of all, I want to share some general facts about it so you get to understand the whole thing better. Every year there is like a tax day. Usually it's like around April 15th. This year it's April 18th. I think last year it was supposed to be on April 15th, but because of COVID, I guess, it was extended to, I think, May 17th. I still did it in April. And this tax day tells you that this is the deadline where you have to file and pay your taxes. But as I mentioned before, this can change every year, so you should inform yourself about the tax day every year. And tax day doesn't mean that you have to pay the taxes on exactly that day. For example, this year, April 18th. That means you can pay your taxes in February, in March, or in April, or whenever you want to. Just remember the deadline of the tax day. The next point I want to tell you, you have to pay taxes from your earnings from last year. So this year we have 2022 and you have to pay taxes from your last year's earnings. That means from your earnings from 2021. Let me give you an example so you really understand from when you have to pay the taxes. For example, me, I started my au pair year on September 9th. I was paying taxes for September 9th 2020 to December 31st, 2020. So in those September, October, November, December, 4 months, I was paying taxes for those 4 months. But for example, this year in 2022, I have to pay taxes for the whole last year because I've been here since 2022 and I've been here the whole 2021. So I have to pay taxes for whole 2021 from January 1st to December 31st, 2021. And also, if you just started your au pair year after December 31st, then you don't have to pay taxes yet. You need to pay taxes next year for the first time. So, and why do we have to pay taxes? It's kind of simple because it's the law of the United States to file and pay your taxes and report your earnings from each year. So our total income exceeds a certain threshold, so we have to pay taxes. Even if your salary is the minimum salary an au pair can get, which is I think $195.75. Still, it exceeds the threshold, so you have to pay taxes. It's a must. And another thing I want to mention is all au pairs have to pay taxes. It doesn't matter which agency you're with, it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter. All au pairs have to pay taxes. And I know that there are some rumors that there's a way out to do not pay taxes, but I'm 99% sure that it's not possible to get around the taxes. You have to pay it. I tried to find something last year because I heard the rumors. I was Googling a lot, I was informing myself a lot, and I couldn't find anything about it to not pay the taxes. I also know that there are some agencies or places to pay the taxes or like to show them to not to pay the taxes or to pay less taxes than you're supposed to pay, but I wouldn't trust them either. I'm honest. Like, I talked to a couple of pairs already, I read it in some groups, and I would just pay taxes. I wouldn't risk it to not pay it, and then maybe you want to visit the States again, and if you fly to the States and they like checking your data and recognize that you didn't pay taxes once, I wouldn't like to be that person though. Well, and what are they doing with the taxes? I guess they're doing the same like every other country does it. They support nation services and facilities, for example. And before we go into detail, I want to say one more thing. If you need additional help, then reach out to your agency or to IRS. The IRS is the Internal Revenue Service, which is the nation's tax collection agency. Same place where you like send your documents and pay your taxes to. And only them, they have the most recent and only official information. How much taxes do I have to pay? This depends on two things. It depends on when you arrived in the United States and how much you earned. For example, I already said that the minimum earnings of an au pair is, I think, $195.75, but I would say most au pairs are getting $200 and some au pairs are getting even more. And if you get more, you have to pay the taxes from like your actual earnings. So if you earn $200, then you need to pay taxes from your $200. So we're pretending we have the year 2021, April. It's tax day and Marie has to pay her taxes of 2020. I arrived on September 9th and I got my first salary in that week. It was a Wednesday when I arrived and I got my first salary on a Friday. So this is the first week I got paid. Now I have to count the weeks until December 31st. If I count all the weeks together, I have 16 weeks. I got $200 as a weekly salary and I have to multiply it with 16 because of the 16 weeks. That makes $3,200. That's the whole salary I got in 2020 and that's the amount I have to pay taxes on. So we will remember the $3,200 and next look to the tax table. The tax table shows us different thresholds and we have to find our threshold now. So it was 3,200, so I have to look for the 3,200. So we're gonna scroll down to the 3,000 and then the table is divided in your relationship status, let's call it like that, in single, married, filing jointly, married, filing separately, and head of a household. Usually we're just like single. We're looking for the 3,200, which is right here. At least 3,200, but less than 3,250. That's our line we have to follow. And because we're single, we just take the first number, which is $323. And this number shows us how much taxes we actually have to pay. By the way, this table is the current one, which means this table is for the taxes for 2021. But this example was just for understanding. This year it actually looks different because I've been to the States the whole 2021. So this year in 2022, I have to pay for the whole year, so for 52 weeks. Again, I earned $200, multiplies with 52 is 10,400. So again, I'm going to go to the tax table. At first, look for the 10,000. So I scroll down a little bit more than the year before and look for the 10,400. At least 10,400, but less than 10,450. This row right here. And because I'm still single, I'm gonna take the first number as well, which is $1,052. That's the amount of taxes I have to pay this year for last year's earnings. And since you know the amount of taxes you have to pay, our next step is to fill out the form. There are two different forms we need to fill out. The first one is called Form 1040 NR, which is for US non-resident alien income tax return, which includes us as an au pair. So if you are not an au pair, you're first of all wrong in this video. No, just kidding. Everybody's welcome. But you might need to fill out a different form. The first form is about your personal information and further down about your income and your taxes. The second form is called Schedule OI. OI stands for other information. This form just wants to know general information about you. But we will go through this in detail after we filled out our first form. This is the first form we need to fill out. We're gonna start with clicking this button right here. Mostly we're single and not married or a widow or widower. After that, we're gonna fill in our name. I would recommend to use the same name as it's written down in your passport. In this field, you have to write down your social security number. I'm gonna keep this private though, so I'm gonna write it down later. You need to apply for your social security number before you file in taxes. But mostly it's one of your first steps when you're becoming an au pair, so as soon as you arrive in the United States, you should apply for your social security number. In this field, you can add your home address, which is the current address you live in, which is also the same address as your host family has, I guess. Also the city you live in, with the state and the zip code. This is about your home country, which is in my case Germany. This is the state I live in. I think if you write it down like this, it's fine. And my postal code in my home country. This field right here, we usually check individual because we do not have anything to do with estate or trust. And also in this line, we click no because we usually have nothing to do with virtual currency. This is all about depends. We're gonna leave this empty too. And here we're gonna start with our income, which was $10,400 per year in my case. I'm gonna write it down in line 1A, 9, 11, and 15. You can add a 0 to all the other lines if you have nothing to do with scholarships, grants, tax treaties, interest, dividends, IRA, and pension distributions, capital gains, or other income. So usually all the au pairs are just typing 0. If you're going to fill in some of those lines, you have to add or subtract some numbers, which is gonna explained. This brings us to the next page, which is about our taxes we have to pay. This number is the number we looked up in the tax table, which is in my case $1,052. I'm going to write it down in line 16, 18, 22, 24, and also in 37. I do not have anything to do with the lines above. If your host family has withheld taxes for you or had any other type of withholding, then you have to type in something different here. And line 37 shows us how many taxes we need to pay to the IRS. This field you usually can keep empty as long as you don't allow another person to discuss this return with the IRS. The last thing you have to do is to fill out this field, which includes your signature, the date of the date you fill out this form. Your occupation is au pair. You can add your phone number and your email address, but I don't think it's a must. I would recommend it though, because if they have questions, they can immediately reach out to you. By the way, you cannot add a digital signature. You need to print it out to make your signature. Same with the date. But you need to print it out anyway because you have to send it per mail. And this was the first form. This is the other form we need to fill out, which also starts with our personal information first, which includes our name and our social security number. This is the home country you're from, and this technically too. I have never paid taxes in Germany because I didn't have to, so I'm not sure if you can leave it blank or add just like the USA. I will just keep it in Germany because I don't think that makes any difference. The next lines are about green card holder, or if you have changed your visa type. If you haven't done any of this, you can click no. In line E, you have to type in your visa type, which is usually J1. In line G, you need to fill out the dates you entered the United States and departed the United States. In my case, I can leave it blank because I stayed in the United States the whole year. But if you left and re-entered the United States in your au pair year, you need to enter the date here. In line H, they want to know how many numbers of days you were present in the United States during 2019, 2020, and 2021. In my case, I stayed in the United States the whole year, so for 365 days. and I arrived in the United States 2020. It was September, so from the date I arrived until December 31st, it was 112 days. If you file your US taxes for the first time, you can click no. I did it last year because it's my second year as an au pair already. I have to click yes, tell them the latest year I have filed my taxes, and which form I used, which is the same form I used today. I'm not sure if we should write down 2020 or 2021, but I also think this doesn't matter really much because technically they can just look it up, so it should be fine. The next lines you can answer with no. Same goes for this, and you're done. This was the second form we need to fill out. You also need to print out this one. Since we filled out the forms, we have to think about how we want to pay our taxes. There are different ways how you can pay your taxes, but I would recommend to do it online because it's the most safest option we have, I think. I'm gonna put all the links, all the forms, the IRS homepage, other information as links below in the video description. Info box. So the first option you could choose is paying online. I'm gonna put that link into the info box too. You can either direct pay via online transfer, which doesn't include any extra costs, or you pay with your debit or credit card, but a convenience fee is charged by that. The second option how you could pay your taxes is pay through a mobile device. For that, you would have to download the IRS app, which is called IRS To Go app. The third option would be pay by cash. I wouldn't recommend it though. If you still want to pay by cash, there is a maximum of $1,000 per day per transaction. And you must first be registered online at this address. I'm gonna link it down below into the info box too. And the last option how you could pay your taxes is through check or with a voucher. I have a file where the vouchers are down below at the last pages. I'm not sure if I can add it somehow to this YouTube video, but if so, you will find it somewhere below. Anyway, if you still want to pay by check, then you have to pay attention to a couple of things. And I think that's it. I just want to repeat a little bit what I already said. All those things can change every year, even though just a little bit. And maybe they are the same next year, but maybe not. So if you watch this video and it's not 2022 anymore, then just remember that numbers and rules could have changed. My links and all documents are down below for 2022 to pay your taxes from 2021. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you and you can get done your taxes now. If you have questions, just comment and I try to answer them. This is my name on Instagram. Everything is linked down below. Please subscribe and like this video. Bye!